Wednesday videos. I know I have once again backed up 3 of them right in a row, and I have been warning you guys that it's going to be less specifically art and more game dev and design and that kind of thing. There are a couple of things that I kind of want to put out there to start off with. Number one, it is a good idea to collect inexpensive art programs that may have interesting stuff in their libraries. Like I needed a stone cup of tea, which is like a traditional Japanesey kind of thing, and I have this program called Manga Maker Kamipo, and it has this stone cup of tea in it, which I pulled out and turned around and used. No, I don't want to save that. I just wanted to export it. Which I turned around and used. I rendered it down to a rasterized format, did a transparent background, and I have this adjustment layer here that lets me alter the color of the tea. So now I have like whatever color tea I want, provided that I just jump in here and alter that particular slider. And I should really save that. And we're going to pull this up to, we'll put it in my pictures directory under Clip Studio. And this is my pan tea in Clip Studio format. And we'll save it into the Clip Studio format. So that's one thing that you want to do, is you want to develop a library of programs that have stuff in them. Another thing that you want to do is collect a vast quantity of stock footage. You can see here that I've got this, I've got these stock graphics, and I've got folder after folder after folder of stuff in here. I've got all kinds of shit. And that's in my archive. And my stock folder doesn't just contain graphics. I mean, it's also got, when you look through here, it's got training material, fonts, it's got video footage, animated backgrounds, visual effects, all kinds of shit like that. And when you scroll farther down, you'll find that I have MIDI files, I have musical tracks, I have various audio samples. I've got a vast collection of stuff in my stock folder that I can turn around and use in pretty much whatever it is that I'm building. And I've been collecting these, and it's just what you do. You just throw like 10, 15, 20 bucks at stuff like this every so often. And eventually you just gather gigs upon gigs upon gigs of stuff that you can use. And if you're smarter than me, you organize it in a way that you can actually find the stuff that you're looking for. Now, earlier today, I was making some notes and doing some maths and kind of figuring out what all I wanted to do in here. And I did definitely want to do like special patterned panties. And that's an important thing that I want to do. But more importantly, I really wanted to kind of get a feel for how the maths were working out on the game. And the easiest way to get a solid feel for how the maths are working out is, well, you just do a terrible driver that actually goes through and does the maths for you. Now you can see here what I've got is I've got all of the little elements that go into the game. They're already together. They're already implemented. And being that they're already implemented, like right over here, I can test things out and I can see how things work out. And one of the things that comes across in that is you start to get a sense of what's working and what's not. And let me just go ahead and fire this up. There's no music in this build. There are no sound effects in this build, and there's no splash screen. All it does is it has the game in it. I mean, you can actually like click your way through mobs, and you can see that as I go through, each time that I defeat a mob, I get some pantsu over here. So like when I click through here, when I click this last click, then it's going to give me another pair of pantsu. And that's keeping track. You see up here, up in the enemy box, it's keeping track of which enemy I'm on and what level I'm on, and it's keeping track of how much my clicks are worth, how much my spirit power is worth. I don't have spirit power yet because I haven't turned it on. How much I'm weakening mobs, how much I'm improving drop rates, and how much I'm taking care, how much of a bonus I get to specials. And you have the base health of the base health of mobs is currently 10, and the base value, how many pantsu they drop, is 1 pair. And we've got the scale values. The scale values are really how everything fits together, because what you can't entirely see behind the scenes is that as I click through here, when I move to the next enemy, it's multiplying the value of the enemy's health by 1.03, which you can't really see because it's only showing you the integer value of that health. It's not showing you the whole thing. But as you go through, it goes up. So you can see now we're up to 13 health. And now we've gotten to a boss mob, and the boss mob is a yandere and has 10 times as much health, and every time you click you get pantsu. So you can see over here, every time I click I get 1 pair of pantsu for every single click. And this is kind of a this is a testing that I'm doing. I'm not really 100% certain on the boss monster stuff, but all of this stuff actually works. So for example, I could turn on my physical glove, which enables my various power-ups, and I could turn up the pink potion, and now I do more damage when I click, because you can see now a click is worth 16 points instead of just there. So if I click once, that takes them down to 15. And over here, now that the clicks are worth 16, if I turn off the physical glove, then the clicks are only worth 1. But when I turn it back on, then they're worth 16 again. I have to be wearing the physical glove for that to actually work. And now, of course, I have like this massive power and the ability to click through a whole bunch of enemies all at once. And to make things even better, what I could do is I could turn on the Spirit Glove, and the Spirit Glove will actually reduce the enemy's health bit by bit. All of this is already coded. It's already in the game, and I can buy blue potions to cause this to happen faster. So, for example, I can have it go down by 16 points a second, or I can turn that down and I can go, that's too fast. Let's take it back down to 4 a second. But I've also got the blue rings, and blue rings can also increase my spirit power, just like pink rings can increase my click power. And you can see now my clicks are worth 128, which means I can click through really, really fast. And these power-ups, you would not be able to afford these power-ups this fast in the game. But the entire point here is to check this and see like how well things work and how well things fit together. How powerful do you have to be to click your way through all of this? And how fast is the value of your mobs going up? Now, I'm not entirely happy with how fast the value of my mobs is going up, because they should be dropping more pantsu. They should be doing that faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset everything, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to scale my value not by 1.02 but by 1.1. Actually, let's do 1.2. So if we're doing this by 1.2, and now I click through on this, now you can see that as we click through, it only takes a few, and now we're on enemy number 5, where we're up to 2 pairs of pantsu every time I click through. Now, working my way through this and kind of figuring out how to make all of this individual stuff fit together, that's the fun part of building the game. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down because I want to take a quick look here. Before I bring up this code, I want to point out, this is a very quick and dirty implementation that's been built under the assumption that I'm the only person that's going to run this code, and I'm the only person that's going to work on this code. So it's very flat, okay? It's all included in one file, and there's not a whole lot to it, so it's not a big deal. The big kind of the interface reaction here. Every frame we're processing the amount of damage to do with the spirit power, and every time I click on the mob, then we get the damage to the mob based on whether I have the right glove on. If I have the physical glove on, then it does damage equal to the current click power. And if I don't have it on, then it just does the base click power because it can't upgrade just the base hand. And if it's in boss mode, then we also hand out some pantsu every time you click. And other than that, we've got all of this stuff is just on value change. We recalculate everything. And you can see here, I've got some stuff put together. All of these little things here is just, when you click through and look at it, it's like each of these individual spin controls here. Whenever that control changes, whenever one of those controls changes, I fire off an event for value changed, and that's done over here in Godot. You go to your node and you just right-click on your value and you connect up a particular script. And the only script that I've got is the one script. So what I've got is I've got this onChanged. I have the onChanged event firing. And when that fires, for example, when we get a change to the base spirit, if the base spirit value changes, then I change my internal representation. I track that internally so I don't have to grab it out of the control. And I just grab that out, and then I recalculate based on the information that I've got, and I redisplay. I put everything back into the window. And I do that for each and every spin control that's on there. And then on top of that, I have up here, I've got the recalculate. And the recalculate is pretty simple. I recalculate the current click value, spirit value, all of the 5 power-ups. And once all of those are calculated, that is what it is. This is fundamentally, this is the game. These 7 lines of code. These are the actual game that is going on behind the scenes. That's what you're actually playing, just those few lines of code. And then down here, I set up my defaults, and I've got putting all of the values into the screen, and that's all just a matter of converting things over to the converting things to strings. There's some stuff that I wanted to change. Control pantsu control. That's current pantsu. Click control, spirit control, weaken drop, special. Okay, all of that's where it needs to be. Health base, value base. Where's the current? Oh, I think I'm doing that in. New enemy. So new enemy, the. Health control is current health to string. Okay, yeah. I think I want to save those. I think I want to track value. track health equals I want track value equals all of this. And then we just want to floor those. And track health and track value are, of course, not defined. So we're going to scroll up here and we're going to go, where's our current health and current value? Okay, so we're going to do zero and track of value equals 0. Okay, so both of those are private. It's exactly the way it needs to be. And okay, so we come down here to, it's in recalc, isn't it? Yeah. Cur health equals math floor track health. Cur value equals math floor track value. So it's new enemy. It's mob health bar, cur val, mob health bar, health control. Not cur health, but track health. Track health and track value. So cur value is just stored internally, and I don't actually use it. Okay, yeah, okay. And at the beginning of all of this, this is terrible, okay? I have a variable for every single control on the window, and each of those controls, I just grab them right at the beginning when it first runs the ready command, and I pull them by text, which is a terrible way to do it. Nothing is dynamic, nothing is reusable, nothing is object-oriented or anything like that. It's just all wrapped up in one object, which is terrible design, okay? It's terrible architecture. I'm not building anything, like, awesome here. This is relatively badly done. But you can see here, this should now, it's not. That should be setting up. Don't forget to save it. Track health equals the base health, track value, and you get recalc. Okay, so we do new enemy. Control. That is the right thing, right? Enemy health and enemy Pantsu. Is that what I did? Enemy health control and value control. Yeah, health control and value control. That's them. Okay, that should be giving me the There we go. Now that's kicked in. I think I just forgot to save it. So it's showing me what the health is supposed to be and what the value is supposed to be, and you can see how the value is going up. Now, I think the value is going up too slow, so I'm going to reset that, and I'm going to go, okay, let's take this up to 1.2. And now we should be able to see that after just 5 enemies or so, it's up to 2 pair of panties per mob. And you can see here that things are going kind of slow. Now, I don't have the store implemented yet, so things don't actually get purchased. That's the next thing on my list is to, the next thing on my list is to build the actual store so that purchasing your power-ups actually costs Pantsu. But as it stands, it would cost 10 Pantsu to buy the physical glove, so I click that on, and now that doesn't actually make a difference, but I am able to buy upgrades for it. Now here I am in the Yandere section, and I've got 118 Pantsu. So at this point, I can now afford to buy the Spirit Glove. Actually, let me reset that. Let's see how this works out. So we've got... once I get through, let's see, no, wait, reset. We're moving up to, let's try this at 1.2. Okay, so at 1.2, we're going to jump through here. So it's at 7, it's after 8 enemies. It's on the 8th enemy that we can now afford to buy the physical glove, which doesn't actually make a change, but it does open up the store so I can buy upgrades. And now that we're on enemy number 10, our next one is going to be a boss. So now we've got a boss, and every time we click, we're going to get 6 panties. So this is going to go up pretty fast. And once we get it up to 110, now I can afford a pink potion. And that pink potion is going to let me do more damage. And as I push forward on that, once I get up to 160, now I can afford the Spirit Glove. And if I keep clicking, now to get a blue potion is 500. So if I just keep clicking, I don't quite make it to the 500, but now that I continue clicking through these, I need, what, 660 at this point. So to account for what I've already bought, 691. Now I can bring up the blue potion. Now if I can get this to 1160, I can buy another blue potion. $21.60, I can afford another blue potion. And now we're at the point where it's going to click through all by itself, and this is beneficial. I can also now afford to buy a green potion, which will decrease the power of the various bosses. If I buy another green potion, that's going to let me click through those a lot faster. And now you can see, yeah, that's really working. If I increase the, man, that is going up fast. This is this is good, I guess. And it's ramping up awfully quickly. So, yeah, let's back off of this. We'll go... and try this. But, yeah, the whole thing is actually working at this point. I just have to figure out what the values are. And you could set these values pretty ridiculously. Oh, that's right. The scale is limited to 2. And you see now it's just like it's ridiculous because it goes up awfully fast. If we set the enemy scale to 2, then yeah, it gets ridiculous. It just starts cranking through and cranking through. But my point on this is to say that when you're working on stuff like this, where you're doing the maths on it and you're figuring out how everything fits together, you should definitely do a little driver that lets you muck around and change things, like change the base health and the base value. Like, for example, we may decide let's jack up how many panties you get as a base. And this is really this is not in a place where it's tremendously useful for figuring out game balance, because what I still have to do is implement the store. Because what needs to happen here is I need to have the physical glove, which costs 10, and the spirit glove, which costs 50. And then the individual potions have a cost. And the rings I'm not going to implement yet. They require another system that I haven't put together yet. But the next thing on my plate after this is to actually put together the store so that you can actually buy upgrades and whatnot. And once I get both of those things together, once I get the store together and I get the prestige system together, then that's going to be reasonably playable. And at that point, I could start looking at balance and figuring out what things need to cost and why they need to cost that. So yeah, and that's going to be the next thing. So I'm going to jump on off of here and I'm going to get started implementing the store, because that's I'm literally working on this as we speak. So I'm going to go and get started on that. And the way stuff's been going today, it shouldn't be more than a couple hours before I get that together.